June 23rd, 2026, we've got a special council meeting with a few items to go over. We've got a budget proposal to hopefully button up this evening. Richard B. Harrison conveyance agreement, a resolution appointing a finance officer, a budget amendment number 9 for this current fiscal year, and looking at accepting a police department donation in the town of Selma. With that being said, we'll jump right into this here FY26, FY27 budget proposal, interim town manager McDaniel.
All right. Okay, good evening, council. How are you?
Fine.
Basically, I'll start with this. Any questions from last week? Since last week. Katie's going to go over a couple of things. She, again, meticulously, and I appreciate her for this, went over this budget for accuracy, for any changes, and most importantly, we found Excel issues. Couple of formulas wasn't going to the right place. She's going to go over a couple little changes since last she found on Friday. So it hasn't been adopted yet. Let's get it right. All this could be done through journal entry because we're just in our department, but we'd rather bring it to you and show you open. One of these are in the right direction, when I was slightly in another direction. So Katie, if you want to go over that right quick.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Going over the budget on the summary page, which is page 38 of your packet, your meeting packet. There was an Excel formula typed over, so it wasn't pulling from that page. Everything on that page is a formula, and it pulls from the individual departments page. So there was a formula typed over on the library expenditure section in the general fund. You guys had the number reporting at 252, 462. And the number actually should have been 177, 768. So it was overstated by $74,695. So that was just pulled back out of that line. That was corrected. And that additional $74,000 went back to the governing body contingency.
That was removed from the manager recommended FY27.
Yes, that's correct.
Katie was correct.
That's right. It was correct on the library individual sheet, but it wasn't pulling back to that summary page. So that actually gave you guys a little bit more in the contingency for governing body. And then the only other corrections that were found were to the salaries. There's a separate salary spreadsheet that is maintained. And there was an error where some of those formulas weren't correct on that spreadsheet. So just in the electric department, there were a handful of lines that were changed. I don't know if you guys want me to go over them one by one. I have copies of everything with it highlighted in purple, the changes. But overall, that just decreased. There's also a contingency in the electric department. So overall, that just decreased their contingency by $49,803.
This particular spreadsheet for ledger, was one that was played with last year. It needs to go back to where we originally did, was separated correctly. There's a lot of additions too. I think that's where some of those formulas got stuff. Thank goodness, nobody's found out today and got it right.
Yeah, typically each department has an operations salaries section and a admin salary section, and the electric in that spreadsheet is all together. So that's kind of, it was a little skewed.
The question we had from last week was salary missing parts of red. That was last week before we left here. It was in the updated when y'all got there.
questions? Meticulous. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Touch base real quick on position control.
And right now, if I get something here, but, everything stays the same except the, changes in Park and Rec, the addition of a public works director, the addition of,
And that's a public works superintendent, not a director, correct?
sorry, not public works, public utilities director.
Public utilities.
Right, that is an admin.
It does, public services director
Yes,
and,
I'm sorry, I made a mistake with that. The two elected linemen, line person, excuse me, and
Yeah, we'll make a note about that if we do approve tonight. We had made a note that the beginning of this, when we started talking about it, it was gonna live in electric, but I think last week you guys had talked about moving it to finance. So if we just will make that statement, in the motion that's made, that we're gonna move this up
Amendment.
to, the finance department, because it still is housed in the electric department, if we don't wanna leave that there. And then just a few small changes that we made today, in the 25 salary, the position control. We did not move the police and fire to, coincide with where they are in the salary ranges. That was skipped over. So they have been brought up. If you'll look on the grades, they are now more in line with what the new salaries were last year and going forward with this year.
thank you for crossing those Ts and dotting those Is. Are there any concerns from staff about the meter tech moving into the finance department technically? Is that something we're good with? We got a big thumbs up from electric, so okay. All right. Thank you. I do want to point out in planning, see that we do just have the two positions there still. That I know there was a request of getting a third position, particularly on the code side. But I think staff has found a good balance of making adjustments to salaries, making adjustments to grades, and getting some good partnership marching orders between our planning technician position and our codes administrator's position. Of course, planning and code enforcement has been a big topic of discussion and very important to us over the last couple of years here in town. So, any questions? Anything else we need to take a peek at as far as the police position as far as the support specialist? We still got that COPS tag on there. Are we going to adjust that?
we'll be bringing you, in July, an updated job description and title is what we're proposing. So it's kind of like a placeholder that was there last year, and that'll change with, y'all side. That was nice.
Absolutely. Look forward to that in July. Any other questions? And again, this last page with our position control and salary scales related to grades, it is very important as we grow to make sure we keep track of that as we change the bottom line for our employees. And I hope that we're seeing we're getting more and more competitive with every single budget, as far as not only with the private sector, not only with the public sector, but with the private sector as well. Council, anything with position control? We have anything else we need to look at as far as this budget proposal?
Can't make it together, budget. do separately, but I suggest we can approve the budget ordinance, the budget worksheets, the fee schedules, and the position control.
Cool. Well, do I have a motion to approve the presented FY 26-27 budget proposal, including the fee schedule, the budget ordinance, and the position control?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion further about this proposed FY 26, FY 27 budget?
Apologize, do we want to make the amendment to move the meter tech under finance, or do we want to wait until July?
Let's do that now. We'll go ahead and get that done now. So let's restate that motion. If we can take that motion off the table. With that, let's restate that. Do I have a motion to approve the presented FY 26-27 budget proposal, including the fee schedule, budget ordinance, and position control, with the amendment of moving the meter tech into the finance department in position controls?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Fantastic. Thank you for the catch. All those in favor? Got ourselves a budget cruising into 26-27. Very cool. I'm excited about this budget as we are polishing the edges now here in Selma, North Carolina. All right, we've got a agreement to look at for the Richard B. Harrison Alumni Association, related to that Richard B. Harrison Alumni Association building. What do we have going on here?
All right, so, I think maybe like for about the past 2 years, this has kind of been going back and forth with the alumni, Richard B. Harrison alumni, that building. I think this is where we're always wanting to head. We got folks and everything who work with us. We all met, went through their list of requests, took in the chip, he rewrote this agreement, and, see if anything will do them there. I think we met all the conditions that the alumni asked for. So we taken all.
Big picture, I believe the Alumni Association wanted, a written document. We had talked about a lease or other documents. And what we did, eventually, we just came up with the agreement which says, all right, on the condition that the property is reconveyed, and there's a deed out there, we've got to add that to it. It's been out there a while. But it deeds the property back to the town within the agreement, is basically, somewhat of a lease, but the rules, regulations as to what they can do with it, what they can't do with it. But it's written under the, I think the premise of, with their input, feedback, it came back to the town. There was amendments, changes. From what I understand, it's the, both sides, what their final agreement was.
I think the needs of what we will offer, and what we can do is in section 9. And, the most important thing I think right now is anything they put already is a rental for 2026 stamps. So, all right, so that way, they have a few agreements like with the Masonic Lodge and the church. That need there. We keep that, but we did add, in several places, use is subject to rental rates approved in the town supplemental schedule. And, rental rules, even if it's in this agreement, still apply. So in other words, when these folks come in here for something, they're still responsible for what they did, like with a security deposit or anything else.
Councilman?
I want to go back to Mr. Hewitt.
Yeah, that's-
The deed you were talking about, is that 2006?
The original deed that's there, is the 06 deed where the town transfers it to the Alumni Association.
But didn't it have restrictions on that when they did that?
It has what is called a fee simple conditional type language that could actually go back to the town if conditions were violated. And that is in that deed. I think the agreement you would say is in lieu of some type of action to get it transferred back. But yes, sir, it is in the original 06D.
But I was, the way I read it, I thought it had some condition that the town would not have the right to go back and pick it back up in that deed.
In the deed, if the town maintained that it wasn't, kept up to par and it was not being used properly, the town has a right to go and declare it to revert back, it's called a reversionary division. And the town's got a right to do that. If the association, objected to that, we'd probably have to get what's called a declaratory judgment, action. So in theory, the agreement kind of gets us there without any kind of fight over that.
This is voluntary on their part.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question was asked, would the deed be then in the name of the town of Selma? And the answer is yes.
Correct. The 06 deed now is in the Alumni Association. The new deed that'll be there, it will be signed over to the town, then the town will have title to it. And I believe it's still is tax exempt regardless.
It would not.
So the taxation will not change. We don't have any of that to worry about, so
But legally, it's just like that.
that is
Yes, ma'am.
correct. Yeah, it's an agreement for conveyance, so in exchange for the conveyance, it's like, all right, here's what the Alumni Association and the town, if you approve it, agrees to.
And very important in here, I mean, section 6, we're talking about the nomenclature for rooms in the building to make sure that we recognize the history of not only the school, but the building as well. The color scheme, making sure that we continue to recognize the history of the school and the Alumni Association as well. So all those things are very important as we partner with the Richard B. Harrison Alumni Association to get a balanced and positive result for the community and for the town of Selma.
Just a minor correction for me on number 7. It talks about exterior color scheme and design, but then it goes on to talk about the interior bulldog mural and wall in the banquet room. So I don't know if that makes any difference, but it might should say exterior and interior. The other thing I thought about was when you're saying that rental rates apply, so the Masonic Lodge and the other people that are using it, the church, those people, will they be charged for lights, water, sewer, whatever?
That's for
Rental
y'all,
rate.
you guys to decide.
Yeah.
We'll bring that, after this is approved, we'll bring that to you as a fee schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all can kind of decide what it is and what it's not.
Okay.
On the table, I would suggest at a minimum, like, so a regular rental of a, approved for one Saturday night. But it follow that, but it's kind of up to y'all how far y'all want to go is in the rental.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, there is no fee schedule related to the.
Right, we kind of wrote it generic for that reason, it kind of leaves it up for you to approve, we can say if it's something at the gym, if it has something special,
Mhm.
whatever y'all say.
Okay.
But we'll bring you some ideas, if this is fast.
Only other thing is the town's intention to rent it out for, like we did Civic Center for meetings and whatnot for money, or what?
That's up to
Sure.
us.
Well, I mean,
Conversation we need to have.
I'm sure you probably have an idea, and the thing I'm thinking about is if you're already committing 2 Saturdays out of the month, for something else, Saturdays are big rental days. So I just think we have to think about those things, we have to do the right thing for the whole town.
I'll tell you the conversation I had, was it you and I had a conversation? Yeah, we did, about the fact that we already have a civic center. We already have a Lions Club that rents out to folks. We have an M&J event center that is over there. We have a gym that we rent out. I don't think adding another rental property beyond what we have right now is necessary or priority for the town of Selma, or it should be. I do think it's wise to leave a balance of private institutions to rent out facilities, ship the farm up the street, versus public entities turning every building we have into a rental.
Section 2, It kind of, it leads me that there's no money transferring, so it's a substantial future obligation that it could cost the town thousands of dollars in overtime.
What do you mean?
It's gonna, we're gonna have to go in and actually do work to the building as well.
Just like every other building that we've had in the town of Summer. So for instance, a police station, First Citizens Bank, a BB&T
Center.
Bank, a Civic Center, the original gym. That is just the cost of doing business when you do add a building to your system. The police department is a fantastic example of a significant cost to renovate a building that at this rate, it not only is it going to be a building we'll continue to use, but we're going to have to add another facility to make sure that we can meet the police department's needs as we grow. So certainly, there is going to be cost to maintain and upkeep any town of Selma facility. But the fact of the matter is we're going to continue to grow, and all of these facilities are going to be used accordingly to support the needs of our citizenry and our town.
And so anything on the books in 2026, they can continue to rent. I rode by the other night and the building caught my eye. It was colorful lights, and when I rode by, you could hear the music. So at this point, they rent the building they could rent it to you and me and a party.
So yeah, I think the point was that if there are current rentals already booked, those can stay on the books. After that, of course, there would be no other renting out of the building.
Y'all haven't included anything past January, July.
December.
This year.
Last one was in December. Good to know.
What's the condition of the building now, like roof, bathrooms?
The
that kind of
roof's in
thing?
pretty good shape, but I said the bones are good, cosmetics didn't work. We actually had our building inspector go out and take a look at it. You know, his, building inspector works, the bones are pretty good, nothing major, but, there's some cosmetic issues.
Did he give you any idea what kind of investment we'll make on renovations?
And of course, that investment depends on exactly to what extent we want to renovate
What
it
y'all
long
wanna do.
term.
Well, we can't let this sit there and fall down, so we're gonna have to spend some money on it, so I'm just
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to gauge what we're talking about.
We definitely cannot, should not, and will not let that building fall down. It's a historic piece of
Agreed,
architecture.
agreed. I absolutely agree with that. I'm just trying to get a idea of what we're committing to, that's all. Not a problem, just asking.
We want to make sure we got the money that we're gonna put into it in our budget so that we can move forward on
For
it.
this year's budget?
I know it won't be this year, but
Oh, yeah.
it'll be next
It will be
year,
several budgets
down the road.
that we'll have to look at carefully. And of course, you got to bear in mind, and let's keep it real. You have that same conversation about Mitchell Station, that we've got to be mindful of our budgets going down the road for that one. You do have that same conversation about a police department building that is desperately needed at this rate. We have that same conversation about a fire station that is desperately needed at this point. We are going to have to work hard, as we have worked for the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years, to find the funding to do all the things that need to be done throughout the town of Selma, not only yesterday, but going forward.
Can we say at the end of 2026, this building will kind of be on lockdown for a while?
At the end of
As
20,
it sits now, no cosmetic, no nothing.
I would say, yeah, after the last rental of 2026, we need to go ahead and get in there and clean up. Absolutely. I would agree. I don't think it's wise for us to delay any further in getting that building up to snuff as far as making sure that it is maintained properly. And then again, any critical internal and external issues are addressed immediately. I think even the Richard B. Harrison Alumni Association would love to see that building return to former glory sooner rather than later.
As far as this lockdown, just remember C and D. Guaranteed to make some laws in church services.
Yeah. And with that being said, we do need to make sure that we touch base with those entities to say, hey, look, there's also going to be renovation of this building during this period of time. So we are going to come to an agreement, because at some point, we're gonna have to jump in there and do serious work. So at some point, everybody's gonna understand that there might be days where this building is not going to be an option. There might be a weekend where this building is not gonna be an option.
Right, in 2027, if a little party's book, and I say little because the building's not gonna hold what the Civic Center holds. And then, if church is still permitted on Sunday, somebody's gonna have to make sure there's cleanup on that Saturday evening if they follow, how long are you gonna be in there?
I would say
So-
that part of this agreement, particularly as we're talking about fee schedule and things like that, we will go forward and make agreements with these folks that are using it as regular services, and their responsibility to maintain for their services, that type of thing. We can't commit our staff to clean up for their functions, that type of thing. So I do think we are going to need to have very clear conversations with the folks who will continue to utilize the building going forward. And again, be incredibly balanced and fair with the agreements we make about the use of the building. Again, that building has been a centerpiece and an important staple in the community for a long time. We can't forget that as a town. We can't forget that as a community. And we need to respect that into perpetuity.
Section 9 has 3 other things in there as well, that, like the funeral repasses. After their time's up, which is in December, if they want it for a day and it's already booked for something else, and they want it for a repass of funeral, the way this is written that they get it, regardless of what's going in the contract.
I know it said there was no charge for the repass, but I'm not sure about the schedule.
Yeah, scheduling is not in there at all. I mean, available is available.
They have the right to it without.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I let, Megan had to borrow my computer, my laptop, and, I let,
Same thing as 9C
yeah,
and D.
9A, the existing rental commitment, B is no charge for repass.
Yeah, it doesn't
C,
say that the day you want it is available, you get it, that's what we mean, if it's available. That's just like going to the funeral home and saying, I want to have a funeral Wednesday, but we got one funeral Thursday. I feel like that was the same way, but it just makes, the main thing is that members are no charge.
But it's written that they are granted for funerals, okay? But if, we need to clarify the contract, to clarify that if it's been used, that we can't be bumped.
I'm not sure if I understand that.
Yeah, I'm understanding, but it doesn't ever give them priority.
So,
The way it's wrote, it's just not there.
yeah, let me make sure we're clear. We are going to have to be, just like when we're renting buildings to everybody else, the organizers of schedules for all of this. For instance, let me give an example. If the Masonic Lodge is scheduled to be in there at a certain time during the week, and we have, God forbid, a member pass away and need a repass during that particular time that the Masonic Lodge might be there, we're just gonna have to be the adults in the room and be like, hey.
As we do now,
Exactly.
we just don't.
It's not available. That is what, that's gonna fall on our shoulders, but I think we can manage that just.
I'm good.
Any
I
other
think
questions?
his part was, if it's scheduled and no bump,
And it's not clear in the contract.
Now, are we saying we don't wanna institute a no bump rule, right?
let me ask you this way, who is in charge of scheduling?
Town itself. I mean, it's our building. And then we say, we're in charge of scheduling. Yeah.
And that would be kind
I don't mind it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
we
mean,
can,
it doesn't matter to me, I was just saying that you talk about interiors under there, and it's labeled exterior, so I didn't know if it needed to be.
we can make that
Doesn't matter
amendment
to
as part
me.
of the motion. I don't mind that at all.
I'll shoot that to Dawson first thing,
Yeah.
unless there's another change.
That's, again, crossing those Ts, dotting those Is. That's good.
I don't have any problem with this at all. The only thing I will say is that it's hard for me, just like it is any contract that goes on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, amen, to say that we'll do this forever and ever and ever, amen. So, you know, just with that caution, I just want everybody to realize that's pretty much what we're saying here.
Well, on these, I think what she said was not saying. That would be a permitted period. Doesn't say for 5 years, 100 years. Just said-
There was something in here about 2 years and, what was that? Did I read that in this contract?
While we're doing that, two things. If council approves this or amends it, whatever you bring out of this will be the documents that will be presented to the Alumni Association. And then when it goes to them, they would sign the agreement, and then at the same time, the conveyance deed, is my understanding, and I'll get that back. I think it's got the old date on it. I need to update just the date, but it's literally just transfer it back.
You talking about 15?
14.
14.
Okay, chip number 14, where it says, I'm sorry, somebody else just said that. It says 2 years from the deed of recording, except for the covenants and agreements that by their term contemplate performance after the conveyance. And then those things survive for a period of 3 years, unless, so if the Alumni Association dissolves, then all this is taken care of. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that was there.
There
Thank you.
versus-
Yeah. So there is a limit, William.
Okay. I saw that too.
I don't think you'd ever let the word perpetuity, that hates that word.
Yeah. Anytime I see a contract that says you gotta go to California and look at it.
That's the thing, I've been called, it's not on that different.
You know, Councilwoman Watson brings up a good point. You know, 100 years down the road, who's going to know that this piece of paper even exists anywhere? So I say it's very important for communities to continue these conversations through the years. To say, hey, remember, this is what this building is for. This is why this building was here. You know, we're having conversations now of folks that can't remember the Selma Elementary School originally being a full grade school. So we need to make sure, yeah, he went there. We got to make sure that we continue to have those conversations in our community so everybody knows where we came from and have a better idea of where we're going. Anything else?
Yeah, but just for clarification, do we have anything in plan, what we want to use the building for yet? Nothing
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. You know, at this rate, I think it's wise for us to make sure the course of this year runs out with rentals and all that good stuff, and then take that time over the course of this year for us to discuss the possibilities and communicate with the Richard B. Harrison Alumni Association with the possibilities that they might be interested in too. Again, these are folks that live in the community that can give great input to how that building is used for the community.
So if I'm hearing correctly, and which I think I did, we take it in 27.
It would be conveyed to us in 26. We do the work on it in 27. Sir.
27, it's got to be interpreted there.
Yeah.
Not mechanically, like,
But it would be
Can still-
conveyed in 26.
but that deed is recorded. That is, that is.
Okay.
And we would start immediately working on the exterior veneer. Absolutely. Anything else?
There's nothing to prevent the Alumni Association said yes or doing A, B, and C. If the town wanted to go there, you got the right to do that. You wanted to accelerate it.
Shoot, if we end up finding particularly grant money for historic preservation, things like that, particularly for that building, go ahead and get to work. Anything else?
Change from
One change.
7 to interior.
Yep. Do I have a motion to approve this Richard B. Harrison conveyance agreement with the amendment to section 7 to say exterior and interior color scheme and design?
So move.
discussion further?
I'm good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very cool. Good to go.
I think this weekend is your reunion, alumni reunion. So, it's pretty cool time just to get just lined up this week.
Oh, very cool. So Richard B. Harrison Alumni Reunion is this weekend, Saturday? What time does the party get started?
He said, what time we going?
10 a.m. Yeah, what time we eating? Right, 10 a.m. we get having lunch over at Harrison. Fantastic. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. What do we have next?
We got a resolution officially defining salt.
Seems pretty straightforward. Any questions about a resolution appointing Eddie?
One correction. On the resolution, the town council is of the opinion that Katie possesses the requisite. So we're talking about bird wings or gears, but.
That's been correct.
Already been corrected.
Right,
All right,
good.
rock and roll. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Any other questions? All right, do I have a motion to adopt this resolution appointing Ms. Katie Taylor, the CFO of the town of Selma?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
I think I had a question mark now.
All right.
Speaking of Miss Katie, she's got the next 2 hours.
Yes, yes.
Good evening again.
Hey.
The next item is the budget amendment that we hope is the last budget amendment for the 25-26 fiscal year.
It's a good one, though.
Yes, it is a good one. So we're just increasing, current year taxes that we've already received. That money, we're not even increasing it to the amount we've already received, just to cover some shortfalls in the expenditures within the general fund. And then in the electric fund, we're increasing the sale of utilities revenues, which we've already received. And then decreasing the transformer purchases line, which we're not spending, to bump up that bill that we have to Enkempa. So that's it for that one.
Short, sweet of that. But first, again, we sold a lot more electricity than we did this year, so we brought more revenue. Bills, we bought more. So, this is a good thing. I don't think any of the big box stores were taken into account last year. Electricity's every year does a, your number came this year for that, but we actually take a look at it, get realistic. But every year, Enkempa says, hey, this is what we project for next year. And last year, that's the exact number, but they look, we owe the BJ, we owe the Target. And I know we owe them, but they were using electricity for 2 or 3 months before that. So, plus all the other growth we had. So this is good. My favorite budget amendment I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's rock and roll. Cool. Well, do I have a motion to approve budget amendment number 9?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And then what we got next?
Thank you. The next one is the agenda item to accept the restricted donation to the Selma Police Department. Chief Voss had, someone want to give some money to support him as the new chief of police, and just because of it being a large amount and because of the restriction that he sees fit to spend, we wanted to bring it before council to formally accept it.
Boss, tell us how you pulled this off.
And does this include the golf cart?
Yeah.
So it was actually by Mr. Burton of Advanced Tech. It's a pharmaceutical clean room. They make clean rooms for pharmaceuticals, and they're based out of Clayton. And a gentleman approached me and said that he saw a good thing with the town of Selma and wanted to offer a donation to the town of Selma.
Well, they got it right. It was a good thing for the town, so let's rock and roll.
That's fantastic.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions about a donation? Do I have a motion to accept said donation directly for use of the police department to the town center?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's rock and roll.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anything else we need to touch on? We don't have a closed session or anything, right? Oof. I have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?